Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA, and I am joined with a very frequent guest of the show. He is undefeated mixed martial artist. He is the Punisher, Mr. Torrez Finney, two-time winner on the Dana White Contender Series, looking to make history, trying to get the old DWCS hat trick, looking to become the first fighter ever to win on the Contender Series three times. Torrez, some breaking news a couple weeks ago. You know, you got a last minute opportunity to take on Adela Arami October 1st. We're only a couple weeks away, man. This thing's sneaking up on all of us. You know, what's the mindset knowing you're going to get the third opportunity to fight on the Contender?
Well, man, it's the beauty of I've talked about this actually on this show, on multiple shows, multiple times. I've talked about like the difference between fighting from me playing football or me wrestling. It's like the frequent times of being able to do it, and the beauty of this is like I got what I asked for. The frequent time. Now, granted, it was unexpected, but yeah, I'm excited to be able to go out here and fight once again. Yeah, October 1st. It's coming soon, but to be able to see myself to be able to step back into the cage, only problem. I mean, it's not a problem because I'm already, low and around that area for the weight cut. Nobody wants to cut weight that many times, obviously. But besides that, though, I'm excited to jump right back in there. There's not necessarily nothing in like to really think about overall. We just on to the next. Most of the time after a fight, I'll have time to sit back, do a lot of film study on myself. What could I correct it? What I could have corrected in camp. There's some things that we actually did the following week, on some corrections, obviously from the Cam Ralston fight. But now we're on to the next. Got to forget Cam. Now we're on to Abdullah. Very similar to what football, similar to wrestling. You put that week away, you put that match away, you're on to the next. So I'm already on to the next. Watching a lot of film on Abdullah. Definitely creating a great game plan, and we're really excited for the matchup. I'm excited. There you go.
Before we forget Cam in this interview, we got to talk about that dominating performance, man. Just a couple of weeks ago, I mean, you really showed the wrestling. I mean, you controlled, if I remember correctly, about 12 minutes of control time in a 15-minute contest, something that's truly unbelievable. You took him down 11 times. Going into that fight, he's the type of dude, obviously, City Kickboxing. He's one of their top jiu-jitsu guys. I think he actually is the top jiu-jitsu guy there. He trains a lot of Israel Adesanya and some of their other top guys. Going in there, did you feel like the wrestling was going to neutralize the contest?
It was, yes. I knew it was, and man, I'm gonna be honest. His length definitely gave me some trouble. I am not really a guy that ever cares about like tall guys because usually I like the tall guys, so that wasn't the problem necessarily. But his length on how he utilized it, along with the knowledge that he has, the skill set of jiu-jitsu, definitely gave me a little problem. And I definitely again respect the Cam Ralston. He's a really good, phenomenal fighter. He was really good at being able to utilize his jiu-jitsu to stale me off. He played really well with his butterflies, played really well with his clamp guard, played a little bit octopus. So the man did really good at being able to stave me off from allowing me to open up like I usually do. As anybody's seen the rest of my fights, he allow me to open up. And obviously nobody's going to ever allow you to open up, but he did his best he could to definitely stave me off. And I was able to do some small things, but not the stuff that I really wanted to do. And there were some openings that I definitely had in that fight that I just got to continue to keep getting better on. There was a lot of things that when I went back and watched the fight, I'm like, what the freak? There was openings to certain things that I would have been able to advance to a finish or advance to a better position to be able to land off some ground and pound. So, yeah, it just me continue to keep getting better. And it was really good to go against a guy of that skill and caliber.
So following the contest, I'm pretty sure you had a really good feeling in your head that you at least won the fight. I mean, that was pretty clear cut. Did you think you did enough to get the contract at that time?
Honestly, I didn't know. So, like, I knew, I was like, man, like when the fight ended, I just sat there, I was like, what the freak? I mean, I was happy that I won. I was like, what the freak? So I'm going in the back. First man I texted my boy Malky. I said, Malky, just go and be straight up honest. What do you think? He said, I'm texting Mick right now, and it's not looking too good. And I was like, I already knew. It's like, and I had already known the result in the back. my teammate Trevor Peake went up to Dana. It was like in like a between period or something, and he spoke with Dana, and him and Dana, Dana gave him a few words here and there about that fight, about me, and I was like, well, it is what it is. On to the next, and my plan in my head was just, all right, well, I mean, at least you won the fight. That's the main thing. That's always the main objective going into a cage. Every single time we coming out with our hand raised and a W. So at least I had won the fight. But I had already known in the back that I wasn't going to get it. So I know a lot of people like look and like, man, I saw your face up there. And I was like, well, my face was like that because I already knew that I wasn't getting it. The problem was I didn't know what the man because I can't say anything back because I ain't got no mic in my hand. So I didn't know what Dana was going to go up there and say because I already heard what he had said to Trevor, and I'd already heard what he was, what they were talking with Mal. So I already known a little bit of what was already going to be, in a way, said. But yeah, I just didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. But I'd already known technically the result on me not getting the contract. So.
One thing was interesting of what he said is, he wanted you to fight more fights. He mentioned that last time he said, I need to get multiple contests. You had the one in there. But, what didn't come up was the fact you were pretty tied up earlier in the year. I mean, for a while, you thought you were going to be on the Ultimate Fighter. Something happened there. You weren't able to compete. Then you got your opportunity to fight on the Contender Series again before your last regional contest. I mean, you took that regional contest already knowing that you were going to be on the Contender Series. You didn't even have to do that. With all that was being said, obviously we found out in the next week during the press conference that Dana really didn't know about that. He didn't know that you weren't able to fight on the Ultimate Fighter. Was there some confusion, going on in your head when he was saying these things?
So that was the other part. So when that statement was made about when I told you to go get more fights and you didn't go get more fights, I didn't mean go and get one fight. I mean go get 3 or 4 fights. So when he said that, I'm just sitting there thinking, again, I already knew potentially what the result was going to be. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, yeah, he doesn't know what really goes on overall for the entire business sometimes. And again, that's not Daniel's fault. That's not his fault. It's just that business is so big, everybody has their part. So when everybody has their part, sometimes he's not going to know what all these different things. He already talks about when he walks in on a Contender Series, the only thing he sees is what's on that sheet. Well, I don't think that what's always on that sheet is like all the small intricacies that be going on along with that fighter. And yes, if anybody know, yes, I was supposed to be on the Ultimate Fighter. Yes, I was selected. Yes, I would. One more night, I was about to be gone for 6 weeks. Producer comes up to my room, and I'm thinking he's coming up to my room potentially to get ready, take the phone and that stuff. But he was telling me that I was selected particularly for that season. And I was like, okay, no problem, So it is what it was. The first thing we did, we tried to go out and find fights. Now, the other part on that, it's not easy for me to find fights on the regional scenes anyway, but we was able to get one. Now, I was offered to be on the Contender Series about 3 weeks before that fight for Combat Night. So I actually didn't have to fight that fight on Combat Night at all. I could have just said, all right, well, we ain't going to do it. We ain't going to take no risk, no injury, no nothing. We'll just take the Contender Series fight and wait till then. Well, just the competitor in me, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to take this fight. I want to take this fight because I don't want the first time I step back into the cage to be the Contender Series, to be the next biggest fight of my life. The next fight is always the biggest fight of my life. But if I'm going to step back in there with the next biggest fight of my life, bigger than, the regional scene, then I'm going to make sure if I am who I say I am, if I am how good I believe I am, then I'm going to take this fight and I'm going to make the best of it. And, I was blessed to have one of the most viral knockouts of the year. So it turned into being a home run for me. And I said, oh, okay. Now, granted, we go on the Contender Series. I win. That didn't turn out to be necessarily a home run. We just get to first base, maybe second base. But now, now we just turned out to have an even better opportunity. Now, an opportunity at history. But I wasn't necessarily mad. I knew some of the things he was saying was a little bit flawed because he just didn't know. The Ultimate Fighter held me into a contract for about 4 months. You couldn't fight at all. You can't fight because when they're doing the whole process, and the process didn't end all the way up till March or April. So like you ain't got no time. And then like for me to find a fight instantly that quick, that's hard. That was gonna be no, yeah, it was all the way to March because I fought in May because I had April. April was my training camp basically for the May 4th fight. So yeah.
So 2 days after that press conference where Dana said that he didn't realize, you were on the Ultimate Fighter and all that stuff, we get an announcement. I look at Facebook, and all of a sudden you're fighting again on the Dana White Contender Series, taking on Adelaide Rami. I think you originally had an opponent. Something happened there. You came in as a replacement. Who contacted you? How did you hear about this potential opportunity? And were you kind of stunned a little bit to be offered right away again?
Yes, I was. So like this whole everything has happened like so quickly. I mean, this is like I just made an announcement about what 2 weeks ago. So like all of this stuff has happened like so fast. And yeah, I'm not thinking about like anything. I'm thinking about what's next. I was like, okay, we're done. We're done with that. That scenario. Let's what's next. And we was already in talks with another promotion management team. Malky, he calls me. He said, "Have you signed the contract yet?" I said, "No, not yet. I'm supposed to be getting it sent to me soon." He said, "Well, hold up. I got an opportunity for you." And I said, "The only way you have an opportunity is obviously having to do something with the UFC." So I said, "What possibly could they want? What opportunity could that possibly be?" And that's when I was offered the opportunity October 1st, once again on the Contender Series. And it was some talks, talks with my team, talks with my family. Granted, family was not they did not like it too well overall, but I had an opportunity to talk, with my team and stuff, and even talk more with my family and things. And we just came to an agreement. Like I really think, like for me, at this point in my career, like I think this is worthy for me to take. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity. I don't see this as a so-called risk for me. It's like no other fight. It's gave me enough time. Like I just got done fighting August 20th. All right. Yeah. Did I take about a week off? Yes. Literally. I got the call on that Wednesday. So I took exactly from Tuesday to Tuesday a week off. The moment I got the call, right after I got the call, I accepted it. I went and trained that night. So there was no such thing as like really like off time, because sometimes taking that week off allows your body to like rejuvenate, reset. You feel good. My cardio feels really good. I'm back training. I just sparred last week in Vegas at Extreme Couture. So I feel really good, and I'm able to go. Heck, I did 7 rounds last week. So a brother's really ready to go, and I'm excited, man. I'm really excited, and yeah, this is nothing really that I feel like is um, like too much. I mean, yeah, it was a short notice, but I don't think it's detrimental to me at all. I just think it's more of like, okay, we're on to the next. We're staying active, and it's just going to allow me to be able to settle in and really fight. Like, I don't have time to build up nerves. I don't have time to build up, like when you have that long 8 weeks or that long 12 weeks to think about that one opponent. I ain't got time for that. All I got is like 4.5 weeks. All right, let's go. It's time to get going. Actually, like it like that. It's time to go. So that's why I'm excited. And I'm really excited for the opportunity to prepare for it.
Obviously you've been through some adversity here, having to do this multiple times, winning, in dominating style, not getting what you want. But in that time, you've been on this stage, you've been on the UFC platform a couple times now. You've had some viral moments. Your following is really starting to take off. You have over 30,000 followers on Instagram. There's guys who've been one in the UFC multiple times who don't even have close to that. Do you say, even though, you're not totally in there yet, do you feel like, from a branding standpoint, from a career standpoint, marketing standpoint, has this experience only helped you grow?
Yes, great way to put it. Yes, it has helped me grow. I have definitely grown so much throughout this whole thing to where I feel like I'm already in the UFC or I'm already in that big promotion. Like I treat myself as that. I've trained myself as that. I've been training that way since I've started. And I'm only going to continue to keep getting better. People got to remember, I just started this entire sport in 2020. So guys fight their whole career to get one opportunity. I've been blessed to have 3. And obviously the UFC sees something in me. Obviously, I keep continuing to prove myself right. I keep going out there and showing reason why I know I do belong, because these aren't guys they just picking up. These aren't just random regional guys. These are some of the best guys in their area. And I'm beating those guys, the best guys in their area. So it's like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, obviously I'm amongst the best, that it is on this planet. I'm beating the best guys in their certain regions all over. Like, I'm about to fight guys from 3 different countries: Russia, Australia, now Spain. So I'm getting guys from all over, and it's been an incredible, incredible journey. To see all of this stuff that's been going on for myself. Yes, from the following. Yes, to the viral moments, to my picture going viral for how I look, to the viral knockout, to the on the Contender series, to not winning once but winning multiple times, to the memes. Like, it's wild, but I don't pay attention to all of that. I know it's there. Yeah, it's fun to laugh at here and there, but I don't pay attention to much of that because my main focus is how can I get better every single day? How can I go out there and execute my game plan? How can I go out there and make this fight look easy and flawless? Like, there's just things that I pay attention to a lot more. And yes, this has definitely helped me out a lot. I feel like I'm on my first UFC contract already. I'm fought 3 times in the Apex. And look, I'm already going through the experience. Like, I don't fought more. I'm about to, have an opportunity to fight more times in the UFC Apex. Heck, there's some guys that's actually been signed to the UFC. Some guys have only fought twice for the UFC and then they get cut. So I'm about to have a 3rd time. So it's an amazing opportunity for sure. And I definitely have been blessed, and I'm definitely going to do my best to take advantage of
You know, every organization, I don't care what it is, whether it's fighting, if it's in the business world, they evolve. That's normal. Everything has to evolve over time. Mixed martial arts is the same way. This sport was completely different 20 years ago. I mean, it was borderline illegal. It was barbaric. People were thinking, people were centers calling human cockfighting, all this crazy stuff. Now it's finally mainstream. 15, 20 years ago, I feel like, the focus was on fighting. The focus was on mixed martial arts. Obviously there's been some change. There's been some change in UFC ownership, entertainment. Now we see, and, the Conor McGregor effect might have had a part in this. Entertainment really seems to be king now. And I get it. You need to make money. You need to put on a show. You need to entertain the fans. You have casual fans watching now. We're seeing, you have guys who are going out there dominating performances. Bilal Muhammad's one that comes in my head, doing what he has to do, winning the fight. But because it's not a knockout, it's not one that the casual fans can really understand and really get by. They're getting a lot of heat for it. They're getting a lot of suffering, a lot of criticism for it. Do you think you're maybe with your style, you're falling on the wrong side of maybe this entertainment-driven mixed martial arts day and age we live in?
I can definitely see that. So I've had multiple fans, tell me that they like my style. It's exciting because of the air Finney, the picking up guys and slamming them. They love that, and they do love the ground and pound. Again, certain matchups calls for certain things. Sometimes I'm not going to have with my style probably. I might not have the most exciting fight. And there's sometimes like, man, that was awesome. That was exciting. I will watch that over and over again. That's the type of grappling I would love to watch. So I've heard both sides. Then, obviously, yes, you got the guys that are very decision based. Like, I just sat here and watched my teammate Trevor Peake fight, and I just watched Yanal Ashmove just get 9 or 10 minutes of control time, barely throwing any strikes. I mean, it's like you see that, and that's within the business, And then I see, some other guys, on that same card, Andre Petrosky and Dylan Butker. He was in half guard and mount nearly for forever and barely threw much. So it's like, and nothing against those guys, because guess what? I respect it because they won. Plus, I'm a fighter. I know how hard it is to do what those guys are doing. People think grappling is just grappling. Oh, he just laying on. No, it is hard to hold another man down against his will because it's not easy. You're exerting so much energy. Like, I feel like my style is so much harder to fight. Now, granted, people obviously love the knockout and the risk and all that, which is fun. Yes, it is fun. And it is fun to watch. And I would that's definitely my goal. Heck, even go to this next fight. It's like, yeah, definitely. We take chances on the feet. But the thing is, it's like you have to also respect what these guys have done. I like Khabib. I like Belal Muhammad. I like Islam Makhachev. But when you look at these guys, compared to the strikers, those guys have a longer stint at getting towards the title compared to the more exciting guys. The more exciting guys, boom, 4 or 5 fights, they already got a title shot. But if you're a grappler, it's just going to take a longer road. And I mean, I've been grinding like this my whole life. So if it takes a longer road, so be it, you know. But guess what? I'm going to be winning along the way. And I just think, you know, they try to put all these different obstacles in front of people until like, he's not gonna be able to keep that up so much longer. Well, if these guys keep going, if you keep winning, you can't stop them. Belal Muhammad is a prime example of how I would love to do it. It's like, now, granted, I won't finishes. You know, I don't want decisions. Don't get me wrong. I don't want all those decisions. But he kept winning. The brother just kept winning. He just kept going. Kept going. They couldn't deny him he won 9 or 10 fights in a row before he got a title shot? 9 or 10 fights? That's crazy. That's crazy before you get a title shot. But he kept going. It didn't matter. He knew it was going to come eventually. Same thing with Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling, everybody, I don't want all the back taker. Don't do much. Guess what? Just kept grinding. Kept grinding. Because eventually it's going to come. When you beat everything that's in front of you, what can they say? What you can't keep you. That's when it gets to the point of, all right, well, you know, it's our business. You know, UFC. We claim we have this type of fighter. We have the best of fighters. We got to give our best fighter in that division the opportunity, regardless whether stylistic things are, you know, in our favor or not. You know, so that's the part. And I think that obviously the business understands, like, yes, what's more exciting, what's not. Like, for instance, they're not going to give Belal Muhammad a main event over Alex Pereira ever. You know, they're never going to give, you know, Belal Muhammad a main event over like Gaethje or something, you know, because that's just the style and the entertainment, the fight factor. But you do have some times where you have to just respect like how these guys fight, man. And I really do enjoy all styles. I do. I enjoy all styles, and I respect them all because I know the difficulty of every single style that you see.
You know, I've asked you this question before. It's only fitting, you know, I ask it to you again. You know, a lot of things have happened along your journey here. There's been a lot of moments, you know, putting on a weight belt just to be able to make weight because no one will fight you, trying to look for fights, getting your cell phone stolen by a janitor after a knockout, multiple times going on the Dana White Contender Series, putting on dominant performances, but just the calls not going your way. You know, obviously some guys they could have walked. They could have signed somewhere else. The fact that you're on finally Contender Series again shows UFC means something to you. Obviously, you know, it's like it or not, it's the greatest organization for mixed martial arts on the planet. And I don't really think any other competition's close. And I think they realize that themselves for how big this has gone. What would it mean for you to finally get into the UFC?
Well, you know, I would say this, you know, winning that contract was, especially the first time, I thought, man, it was gonna be a reward for me. Like, man, I finally did it. You know, you know, proving myself right. You know, I put my mind to something, and I'm about to do it. Then being told no. Then the second time being told no. Now I no longer look at that contract as a reward. I look at that contract as a challenge. Now, you know, I've heard the comments obviously from Dana when he comes up there and speak. And frankly, I just disagree. I really do believe I'm on that level. And I think there's a lot of guys in the UFC that I would beat. It's not because I'm just saying that because of who I am. I know that. And I've competed, trained with a lot of high level guys. And I know that I can compete in the UFC. I, again, I get that contract, it's go time. You know, it's more of like, more of me. I mean, it's just going to be more of a rush and an urge to like show myself that I know I was right. I can compete in the world's biggest organization, that I can compete on the level and talent of the world's best fighters. I'm on that level, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me that I'm not. So this is nothing against anybody. It's more of me getting that contract for myself to just show everyone. I told y'all I was ready day one, and I'm ready now. You know, like I'm ready to fight the world's best fighters because I know I'm on that level. And There's other fighters in other organizations that are just as good as those guys in the UFC. I'm on that level. I'm one of the world's best fighters. I know that. Yeah, I don't know what ranking or lit number I am, but I'm amongst those guys, and I know I can compete amongst those guys. So just give me my opportunity, and the opportunity isn't like, oh, it's a war, finally in UFC. Yeah. No. It's more of, yeah. Do you accept my challenge? This is my challenge towards the UFC now, and I'm accepting the contract as my challenge. Of yeah, I'm gonna showcase and show y'all the reason why I know I belong.
We talked about a little bit before. Dana, shows up. He sees the piece of paper. He sees who's on the fights. You think when he sees your name, it could be, how the hell did this guy get back here again for the third time?
I look. Somebody got to be saying something. It's got to be like. There's no way I show up and he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is unexpected." There's just no way. I won't believe that. And I know who definitely helped bring me back. It was Hunter Campbell. So I'm sure Hunter definitely had to say something. Something had to be said between somebody. So yeah, I'm back, and I definitely think it's a huge story that's been going on as well. So, I'm sure Dana knows, but my main goal is to go out there and find a way to get the win and get it in the most devastating way possible.
All right, so let's get into your opponent before we wrap up here. Taking on Abdullah Rami, tough guy, very good striker. He's put on some great performances. I believe found the PFL once. He had some serious power. He ends his fights quick. What do you think of him as an opponent?
Yeah, Abdullah Rami is a phenomenal opponent. He's really good. He definitely has really good Muay Thai striking, kickboxing. He has an extensive kickboxing background. So definitely coming into this fight, being aware of that. And yeah, I watched this PFL fight, looked really good into that fight. Definitely had to overcome some adversity early, but he looked really good. Finishing out that first round. Overcame the guy. Outlasted him basically. It's like, all right, the guy's tired now. I'm going to tee off on you. So he took advantage of that, and he looked really good in that process. I just think what I bring to the table is something that Arami has never seen before. Arami never had an amateur career. Granted, you probably don't have to have an amateur career when you've had like over 75 kickboxing fights. You probably don't need an amateur career, but like in the MMA portion, the same way he's had a long career in kickboxing, I've had a long career in wrestling. I've had a long career in playing football. So like I've been an athlete all my life, and I just think it's going to be the battle of the two different styles, collapsing, like who's going to be able to implement themselves more. And I'm really confident I'm going to be able to go out there and be able to implement my game plan and find a way to go out here and get this win. I'm really excited for the matchup, and I really do believe like this is meant for me. If I am who I say I am, I'll go out here and find a way to get this win. And I am 100% confident I will. 10-0, undefeated pro. We get our hand raised. We're going to make history October 1st.
From a competition standpoint, where do you rank Abdullah between Roston and Yuri?
I will say, like, in my honest opinion, that going into the Cam fight, I thought Yuri. I still do. I would say Yuri it was better than Cam. It just Cam posed a different problem because it's matchup dependent. I would say Abdullah is definitely the most dangerous out of the last two. Abdullah has a lot more things on the feet to his toolbox than the last two. I really do believe, but that's the thing where you just have to just see it. I have to go in there feeling it, and I come back on here and then I answer that question. But I definitely think he's definitely more dangerous than the last two. I definitely got to be mindful and on my toes, but definitely a lot of respect to Abdullah. And he's not the first dangerous guy I've went against. I've went against some guys. I feel like again Yuri has some similarity. Like Yuri was out definitely a power striker as well. Granted, I don't think Yuri was not as technical as Abdullah, but Yuri has some power to his hand as well. So it's about how you fight it, about how you come out, about how things are being seen within the fight, and how they game plan, how they game plan for me, and how I game plan for him. So it's just gonna be the contrast of two different styles, but I'm excited for the matchup. So I definitely know who's gonna come out on top, and I think we got the right guy.
All right, Torrez, last question, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome when you take on Abdullah Rami? In your third Dana White Contender Series opportunity, October 1st in the Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Well, I've told people this all the time, and I will stand by it all as always. I never make a prediction for a fight, but the only prediction I will say is at the end of that night, when that fight is over, and we both stand in the middle, my hand will be raised. I guarantee it. My hand will be raised. I will be victorious because I'm going to find a way to get this victory, and I'm excited for the matchup. And I can't wait for that promo to speak with Laura Sanko for this one. Yeah, I got something for this one. I'm excited.
Well, actually, Torrez, you know what? I'm going to back off. We got to do one more because we do every single interview with a wrestling question. So what interview would this not be? And I have a good one. I think you're going to like this. If you're able to win on the Contender Series, get into the UFC, what moment does that represent in WWE? It could have been any moment, anything that has happened. What would that be comparable to?
So I actually thought about that. So there's two of them. All right. One, Daniel Bryan, when he went against the Authority. Daniel Bryan coming up on WrestleMania 30. They just kept tearing him down. You're too small to be the WWE champion. You're not big enough. You're not ready enough. They kept throwing all these different things at him. Then eventually, he had to do the first step. He had to wrestle 2 matches at WrestleMania. He had to beat Triple H. And then if he beat Triple H, he won. Then he got placed in the WWE title in the main event, and he won that one. So, I like that. Or the Cody Rhodes story that just happened. Cody Rhodes last year, didn't get the chance. He didn't get to complete his story. And then he finally he was able to complete it this year. And I think for myself, yeah, this is me completing this part of my story. I think we finally finished this chapter of my career. And we're just like, we're done with this part. Now, after this fight, it's going to be on to the next. And we're going to be ready for whatever the next chapter is going to be. But I think we close this chapter off in the Dana White Contender Series. This is going to be a really great story. This story is going to be a blessing. This is going to be a story that I really believe is going to be told to a lot of people for a long time about, overcoming adversity. Like, no matter how much and how many times people tell you no, don't let a few no's stop your one yes. Like, don't let that stop your yes, because eventually it's going to come. And when that yes come, be prepared, be ready. Don't go out here and be unprepared, not to be ready for your yes. And I've just been blessed to be able to continue to work really hard, and I just don't let things like that phase me. And I attest that a lot to my family, my granddad, my uncle, my dads and stuff, really raising me to be just tough in these type of situations and always grinding and staying forward, focusing on what's next. We don't look behind us. We focus on what's next. And then obviously the small things that I went through in my life, from the state championships to the overcome being too short or too small to play college football, or the stuff I had to overcome in wrestling. I've always had to overcome stuff like this. Dana White doubting me, this is no different when the football coaches and the wrestlings and when they used to doubt me. This is nothing new. So it's like this is just like repeat. And I was talking about it felt like I've always had to do this in any sport. There's never been a time in any sport that I ever done that I've been very successful at that I didn't have to overcome some crazy adversity. And it's always just made me stronger and better. And I feel like that's the reason why I am where I am now, because now I've been through times like this. So I don't think about it. I don't go out like, man, because I really do believe a lot of fighters would have just, man, Dana said this, they get sad. They're like, oh man, forget this. No. Not me. I don't even blink twice. I'm like, okay, thank you. You just give me more motivation, bulletin board material, and that's the part where, I'm a big football guy. I like what Nick said. We don't buy into the rat poison. We don't buy too much into the people that, give you a lot of props, and we don't buy into people that give you the criticism. We keep it even keel. Thank you. Bulletin board material, whether it's good or bad. We like it. We stay on what we do, and we continue to find ways to keep getting better every single day. So, but back to your question on wrestling, Daniel Bryan or Cody Rhodes?
I think it's only fitting if you do finally finish your story, your first UFC fight, you got to come out to Kingdom, Cody Rhodes song.
That would be good. That's right. Kingdom. Yeah, that would be good. Because this is going to be an epic story, and granted, whatever happens with the contract, it is what it is. But I am blessed to be able to come out here, and I'm already on the verge of history. You know, I've definitely, a lot of people obviously going to be tuning in to this to see, like, is he going to win the third time? And then once I win, what they is going to say after the third? You know, it's like, it's already going to be this. And then obviously the opponent are fighting against Abdullah. You know, it's like, it's a good matchup. So definitely a lot of people going to tune in because of that. So it's going to be a really good night. I can't wait for October 1st. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait either, my friend. You know, it's really amazing. You're starting, not in the UFC fully yet, but you're starting to become, you know, a name that people who watch MMA know. I see your popularity. You know, I remember first covering you, Savannah, Georgia, Icon FC a couple years ago, man, and you made such great progress, man. There's no one who deserves it more than you, man. I can't wait to watch you do your thing on October 1st. And, you know, hopefully for you, the third time will be a charge, my friend.
Thank you very much, Carlo. We're going to do it, man. We're going to do it. Yes, sir.
Well, that's it for us today. That is the Punisher, Mr. Torrez, Finney. I'm the Fight Dr. Carlo Prusa. But we have one thing left to do, Torrez, and I'll let you end it.
That's right, baby. If you smell what Torrez is cooking, let's go.